Shalom, shalom. This is Brother Lamad, an affiliate of the Torah Knights. Shout out to the Torah Knights. First and foremost, all praises to Yahweh, who is Akkad. Okay. There's some things I wanted to address and talk about. If you haven't heard already, there's this dude named Gman. And I know probably by now he's probably famous for all the wrong reasons. So there's this dude named Gman. He likes to go on people's Google Hangouts and get beat down intellectually. He's a Christian. He thinks he knows what's in the Bible. He's always saying that he knows what the Bible is about, when in fact he doesn't know what the Bible is about. He's been getting his ass stomped in by atheists all over YouTube. He's been getting his ass stomped out by females. Like white Edomite women are like intellectually beating this dude down. And he has nothing to retort or respond back with. But he just looks like a clown on the Hangouts. So there's some things I want to address as far as this particular video that he released shortly after he got stomped out on the Shabbat. Okay, I'm gonna hit play real quick.
Jesus died for our sins. They obviously don't believe that. They believe that you're supposed to keep Torah, and then that's how you're right with God. So I told them in Hebrews 9:22, it says that without the shedding of blood, that there is no forgiveness of sin.
Okay, you're wrong right there, okay? What is all this obsession with blood? Blood. You need blood for forgiveness of sins. Blood. What is all this obsession, man? Like, it's creepy, man. Okay? The Torah is very practical, okay? It's not what people think it is, like this whole archaic, barbaric, primitive way of thinking is Genesis in the Old Testament. That's contrary to what people think what the so-called Old Testament is. Okay? The Torah is not archaic at all. It's actually very spiritual. Okay? Let's talk about references to blood in the Torah. Okay? If you go to Exodus chapter 7 verse 20, and it says, Moses and Aaron did so as Yahweh had commanded. He held the staff aloft and struck the water that was in the river in the presence of Pharaoh and in the presence of his servants. And all the water that was in the river changed to blood. The fish life that was in the river died, and the river became foul. Egypt could not drink water from the river, and the blood was throughout the land of Egypt. Okay, did the Most High change the water into blood because of the forgiveness of sins? No, not at all. Okay, all right. Let's go somewhere else. Let's go to Exodus 12, chapter 3, because this is what he's been referencing. He kept saying that the Most High instructed the children of Israel to put blood on the doorposts for the Passover, and he's saying that was the forgiveness of sins. Let's get that real quick. Okay, all right, this is Exodus chapter 12, verse 3. Okay, speak to the entire assembly of Israel, saying, on the 10th of this month, that they shall take for themselves each man a lamb or kid, for each father's house, a lamb or kid for the household. But if the household will be shalakia for messing up the reading. But if the household will be too small for a lamb or kid, then he and his neighbor who is near his house shall take according to the number of people. Everyone according to what he eats shall be counted for the lamb or kid. An unblemished lamb or kid, a male within its first year, shall it be for you. From the sheep or goats shall you take it. It shall be yours for examination until the 14th day of the month. The entire congregation of the assembly of Israel shall slaughter it in the afternoon. They shall take some for the blood, and place it on the 2 doorposts on the lintel of the houses in which they will eat it. They shall eat the flesh on that night, roasted over the fire, and matzos with bitter herb shall they eat it. They shall not eat it partially roasted or cooked in water, only roasted over fire, its head, its legs, with its innards. Okay, so clearly we see there was a sacrificial lamb. Okay, now I challenge you, G-Man. We're going to where you keep referencing. I don't see anything in here in chapter 12 that says that this procedure was done for the forgiveness of sins. Okay? Now, let's find out why this was done. Because we have the answer. Okay, your job is to show me where does it say that this procedure was done for the forgiveness of sins. Because I don't see it in the Torah. All right, chapter 11, verse 5 through 7. Every firstborn in the land shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sits on his throne to the firstborn of the maidservant who is behind the millstone, and all the firstborn of beast, and all the firstborn of beast. There shall be a great outcry in the entire land of Egypt, such as there has never been, and such as there shall never be again. But against the children of Israel no dog shall wet its tongue, against neither man or beast, so that you shall know that Yahweh will have differentiated between Egypt and Israel. That's the reason. So that you shall know that Yahweh will have differentiated between Egypt and Israel. That's the reason why there was the shedding of blood and putting it on a doorpost. That is the reason for the procedure of putting the blood on the doorposts. Okay? So that cuts that whole idea of shedding of blood for forgiveness of sins. That is not in Exodus. Okay? We just showed you 2 examples of blood. In Exodus chapter 7, the river turned into blood. Was that for the forgiveness of sins? You're going to look like a fool saying yes. Okay? Did the Most High ask the children of Israel to put blood on the doorpost because of the forgiveness of sins? Answer is no. Okay? Now, let's see. There's some other things I wanted to address. Okay? This slovenly looking brother, with, not going to talk too much about him, but the stuff that came out of his mouth, what he said is going to blow your mind. Let's get it.
The Day of Atonement. Look through Leviticus 16. Read the whole chapter.
Give them the clip notes real quick of it.
I'm just going to read a verse out of chapter 17 that sums it all up.
Okay.
God says, for the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls.
Right.
For it is the blood that maketh atonement for the soul.
Okay. He just read Leviticus chapter 17, verse 11. It said, for the soul of the flesh is in the blood, and I have assigned it for you upon the altar to provide atonement for your souls. For it is the blood that atones for the soul. Okay, now, what kind of blood are they talking about here? Okay, if we go up to Leviticus chapter 17, verse 3, it says, any man from the house of Israel who will slaughter an ox, a sheep, or a goat in the camp. Ox, sheep, goat. We're talking about ox blood, sheep blood, goat blood. Okay, so you're talking about something else.
Well, there's only 2 bloods. There's animal blood and there's human blood.
Are we talking?
You heard what he just said? He said there's 2 kinds of blood, animal blood and human blood. All right. So I don't recall seeing anything about human blood in Leviticus. All right, let's move on to this. Hold on one sec.
Amen. Amen.
This fool's saying amen.
Amen.
So, like I said, there's only two types of blood. There's animal blood and there's human blood. If you read through Leviticus, you see where God started with the animal sacrifices.
Yeah, in Leviticus, where does it say that there's going to be human blood for the atonement of sins? Okay, where does it say that?
But if you keep going in the scripture till you get to the prophet Isaiah, just read through Isaiah 1, Isaiah chapter 1, and you see where the animal sacrifices have become detestable in God's sight.
Okay, yes, he's correct on that one. In Isaiah, hold on, let's get that real quick. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 11, I believe. Let me see. One sec. Chapter 1, verses 11. Why do I need your numerous sacrifices, says Yahweh? I am sated with elevation offerings of rams and the fat of fatlings, the blood of bulls, sheep, and goats I do not desire. When you come to appear before me who sought this from your hand to trample my courtyards, no longer shall you bring a worthless meal offering. It is smoke of abomination to me. Now, do you understand why the Most High got fed up with sacrifices? The reason why he got fed up with sacrifices is because it became very routine. Whereas the children of Israel would sin, they just go get a goat and then you sacrifice it. There was nothing spiritual about it. It was very carnal. Okay? The Most High just saw it as an automatic Pavlovian response. Okay? An automatic Pavlovian response means there was no thought. It was just a procedure to do because they were told to do it, and they didn't even have their heart in it. Okay? All they did was, I sinned, let me go get my goats, let me slaughter it, and I'm going to have dinner tonight. Okay? That's why the Most High got fed up with it. Now, you're saying that this is the end of the story. The Most High got fed up with animal sacrifices. We read through the rest of the Torah, and nowhere will you see animal sacrifices. That's where you're wrong, okay? If you go to Malachi, chapter 3, verse 4, okay? Oh, my battery's about to die. Malachi chapter 3, verse 4, okay? We can read it in context. Behold, I am sending my messenger, and he will clear a path before me. Suddenly, the Lord whom you seek will come to his sanctuary, and the messenger of the covenant for whom you yearn, behold, he comes, says Yahweh, Master of Legions. Who can bear the day of his coming, and who can survive when he appears? For he will be like the smelter's fire and like the launderer's soap. He will sit smelting and purifying silver. He will purify the children of Levi and refine them like gold and like silver, and they will be for Yahweh presenters of offerings in righteousness. They will be for Yahweh presenters of offerings in righteousness. Then the offering of Judah and Jerusalem will be pleasing to Yahweh as in the days of old and in previous years. Let's get that again. Then the offering of Judah and Jerusalem will be pleasing to Yahweh as in the days of old and in previous years. I will draw near to you for the judgment, and I will be a swift witness against the sorcerers, against the adulterers, against those who swear falsely, against those who extort the wage of the worker, the widow, and the orphan, and against those who wrong the stranger to do not fear, against those who wrong the stranger and do not fear me, says Yahweh, Master of Legions. For I am Yahweh, I have not changed. For I, Yahweh, have not changed. We'll be doing this again as in the days of old, in previous years. Okay? And then if you say that this is Jesus, right? Behold, I'm sending a messenger. Whoever's seeing me read this, and they're saying that that's Jesus. Okay, why are they doing offerings again, as in the days of old? If Jesus was the final sacrifice, okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna get off that topic real quick, and then let's move on to something else that I heard G-Man say. That was utterly ridiculous. Oh, by the way, let's listen to G-Man read, because it seems like he has comprehension issues.
No, actually, G-Man, please read in the KJV 21 verses 17 to 28. This is where we are. This is the group that we are. Please read. We'll mute our mics. Go ahead. Floor is yours.
All right, so he wants me to do the reading for him. All right. And we were come to Jerusalem. The brethren received us gladly. Following, Paul went in with us. All the elders were present. And when he had saluted them, he declared what things God had wrought among the Gentiles by his ministry. They glorified the Lord and said unto him, Thou seest thousands of Jews there are which believe, jealous of the law, and thou teachest all the Jews, the Gentiles, to forsake Moses, saying that they ought not to circumcise their children, neither to walk after their customs. What is it therefore the multitude must needs come together, for they will hear this, that we say to thee, men which have a vow on them, take and purify yourself. Take and purify.
As you can see, this brother is not comprehending anything. He's just calling out words like a parakeet. Okay? Do you know why he can't comprehend what he's reading? Is because he has an idol in his mind, and he got comfortable with an idol in his mind. So he doesn't have to read anything or comprehending anything. That's why when he's reading, he's just seeing letters on a piece of paper and just making the sounds of the letters. But he has no idea what he's reading.
By thyself with them, and be at charge with them, that they may shave their heads, and all may know that those things whereof form concerning thee are nothing but self also walk accordingly with the law, as touching the Gentiles which receive included such thing, save only they keep themselves from the things offered to idols, and from blood, and from strangle, and from fornication. Then Paul took the men by himself with them, and entered into the temple to signify and to accomplish purification, until that an offering should be offered.
Wait. he just read that the Apostle Paul was going to present an offering. Now think about that. The Apostle Paul came into the picture about 70 years after the supposed death of Christ, right? Why is he engaging in an offering? And notice the brothers, their ears perk up when they read that part.
Every one of them. Days were almost ended. The Jews were every one of them.
Hold up.
Until that an offering should be offered for every one of them. Days were almost ended. The Jews were
yeah, but see, as you can tell, Mr. G-Man here read the word offering, but didn't register. He's just calling out words like a parakeet.
Okay, the Jews were of Asia in the temple, of all the people, and laid hands on him. Verse 28, the final verse, crying out, "This is the man that everywhere against the people, and the law in this place, and further brought Greeks also into the temple, and have polluted this holy place." Wait. What do you mean?
He just said, he read the whole thing and said, so what? He was just calling out words. Okay, let me see. Then Paul took the men, and the next day, having purified himself, he entered a temple with them, making public the completion of the days of purification, when the sacrifice would be made for each of them. Paul was going to do a sacrifice. But I thought Jebus was the ultimate sacrifice. The blood. Why was Paul doing a sacrifice in the book of Acts, G-Man? All right. I'm going to conclude this video. So, yeah, it's my first one. I'm not, that tech savvy to make, like, spectacular videos, but I think I got the point across. Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, who is a God, and shout out to everybody in Torah Knights. You have a good rest of the day. Take care.